Taiwan is bursting with heaps of fun places to explore. Join me, Amber Hatfield, as I hit up travel hotspots, soak up some culture, and hunt down hidden gems. Let's go! Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Go. In today's episode, I'm going to be diving headfirst into the magical, thrilling, and downright dizzying world of theme parks. So whether you like the adrenaline rush of a roller coaster, or maybe you like the nostalgia of the carousel, or even the storytelling of themed attractions, I think that amusement parks hold a really special place in the hearts and imaginations of many people. And today I'm going to be giving you a little quick tour of some of the theme parks here in Taiwan. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the history of theme parks, because I've wondered this, but have you ever wondered where theme parks began? Actually, amusement parks and the kind of concept of amusement parks dates back even to the 16th century in Europe. So at that time, there was things called pleasure gardens, and they offered entertainment and food and music. By the time you fast forward to the 19th century, the more modern idea of theme parks as we know them today began to take shape, with attractions like roller coasters. So the first roller coaster was actually at Coney Island in New York in 1884. But today, there are over 4,000 theme parks across the globe, and they range from small theme parks, little local theme parks, to global giants like Disneyland and even Universal Studios. And I think theme parks have become more than just places to kind of escape and, have a thrill, but they're also a really good intersection of engineering and even art as well. So did you know that researchers have found that riding roller coasters can release the endorphins that give you a natural high? Or that the tallest roller coaster in the world was King Dakar in New Jersey at Six Flags, which launched riders 456 feet into the air at speeds of up to 128 miles per hour. Or that King Dakar has actually shut down now. As of November of 2024, the ride is no longer operational. But there are plenty of operational rides here in Taiwan still, and today I'm going to talk about some of the famous parks, most well-known places to ride roller coasters in Taiwan and to have a fun family day out. And we're going to talk about Jianfushan Fancy World, also Ida Theme Park in Kaohsiung, and Lipaland in Taichung. So why don't you buckle up and make sure that your arms are inside the ride, and this is going to be a fun one. Let's jump into talking about theme parks and amusement parks in Taiwan. I'm going to start off today's episode by talking a little bit about theme parks. So Taiwan has a few theme parks. It doesn't have a massive selection, but it has got some, and they do have roller coasters. And first, I'm going to talk about a theme park that I've been to twice. I went there quite recently, maybe about 3 months ago, the last time, and that is Jianfushan Fancy World in Yunlin County. So that theme park is nestled in a kind of mountain area, so it's got really great views surrounded by mountains, and it's also got a few attractions inside. It first opened in 1988, and it became really popular because it's got rides and also family-friendly activities. So when you go to this theme park, you can see that it's quite dated. Like, it is quite old, and things maybe could do with a bit of a revamp. When I went, there were not actually a lot of people, and I was quite surprised. One of the things that is quite standout is that it has a looping roller coaster, which kind of tilts you up. It kind of pulls you upwards, so you're almost facing down as you're riding on it, and it's got lots of turns and twists, inversions, which is kind of fun. It's also got the typical things like a pirate ship, it's got a Viking ship, and some different kind of carnival rides, like carousels and stuff like that. But there is one roller coaster or ride in the park which is probably the main attraction for a lot of people, and that's the G5 roller coaster. So this one is one that has a big dive, like a really big drop. So if you're really well versed in roller coasters, you'll know that this kind of roller coaster basically goes up really steep, gets to the top, and then stays there hanging over the edge and has a pretty much a vertical drop all the way down. So that's what makes it special, is this vertical drop. It is a renowned roller coaster by the engineers Bolliger and Malabard, and it drops nearly 90 degrees. So it's a really free fall kind of experience, a free fall kind of sensation. And just before that drop, they do hold you, right? So there's 2 lines of seats in the roller coaster. You're kind of in a cart that's just got 2 lines of seats. And if you're on the front row, then you can see all the way down. It's really scary. And it holds onto that brake and you're suspended there for, it feels like quite a while. It's just a kind of heart-pounding few seconds that you're suspended there and looking. You've got a really great view over the park, but you might even have your eyes closed at this point because you might be too scared. And then it just releases and lets you plunge down that 90 degrees. Everyone's screaming. Some people let go of their hands. I don't know how they managed to do that. My personal experience of it was, as I was getting up the ramp, I was thinking, why am I on here? Why am I on here? And regretting my decision very much because I was very scared to get to the top. And when hanging over the edge of the G5 roller coaster, I also was thinking, I just wish I hadn't come on here right now. It's really, really scary. And my legs were shaking after I got off for quite a significant amount of time. So I guess I'm not really, I don't go to a lot of theme parks, so I've not been on a lot of roller coasters before. I do like them and I'm happy that I went on it. But in the moment, I think, what have I got myself into and why am I here right now? I'm not sure if you've had a similar experience. So a fun fact though about that roller coaster is that it's a dive coaster, right? So it was modeled off of the first ever dive coaster, which is called Oblivion. And Oblivion actually opened in the UK back in 1998 at a theme park that's much loved in the UK called Alton Towers. So actually, it was about 2 years later that this G5 opened at Jempusan Fancy World, and it had been modelled after Oblivion at Alton Towers. And while neither of them have like a true vertical drop, because Oblivion's drop is 87 degrees, they were really groundbreaking designs at the time, and they really set the stage for dive roller coasters worldwide. Okay, so I'm going to set the stage a little bit about what I think of Jempusan in general. So I think if you're going to go to a theme park like Jempusan in Taiwan, I would not have really high expectations of having a lot of rides or having really new rides or anything like that. It is quite a dated theme park, but it's got its own charm. So as you go in, there are escalators that take you up. It's quite high up. You have to go up quite a way to get up there to the top, to the entrance, and then you walk through and it almost seems deserted in parts. I don't know if that's because of the day that I went on or I didn't go in a high season, but I have been a couple of times and it felt quite similar both times. It has a water park area, and the first time I went, I wasn't actually able to go to the water park area. If you are going to go, I would recommend checking which seasons the water park is open in and going then, because there are quite a few slides and there's a wave pool and things like that. And I'm just not sure if the park is really worth it if you don't get to enjoy the water park, because there aren't that many rides in the park. So there's a really big Ferris wheel, which is quite nice. You get a lovely view over Yunlin County when you go on that. There's one large twisting roller coaster, and there's also the G5 roller coaster, which are kind of the main events. And then there is the water park area. The water park area is pretty fun. They've got maybe 3 or 4 big flumes. They've got a lazy river, and they've also got a wave pool. So you could spend quite a while in there. When I was there, I spent quite a while in the water park area, and it was pretty fun. The water park definitely had the biggest lines and queues on the day that I went, which was probably why I didn't really have to queue or line up at all for either of the roller coasters that I went on. I think that's something interesting, because when you do go to theme parks in other places, they're often really, really busy. But when I've been in Taiwan, it's not really been so busy at all, and the waits haven't been that long. So that's just something to think about. If you don't have really high expectations for having a really large amount of rides and you just want to enjoy a little bit of fun and you don't really want to have to wait around very long, then it can still make for quite a fun day out. Some of the other theme parks in Taiwan include Ida Theme Park, which is in Kaohsiung, Formosan Aboriginal Culture Village, which is in Nantol, and also Li Pao Land, which is near to Taiwan. Now, these three I haven't actually been to, and I would really love to try them. So maybe if I get the opportunity to go, I'll make another episode explaining about those a little bit. But first, let me give you a little whistle-stop tour of those theme parks and what they're all about. So Ida Theme Park in Kaohsiung is actually part of a larger complex called Ida World, which includes like a really big shopping mall and hotel and an outlet mall. And it's got an interesting style of architecture, Greek-inspired kind of architecture. So it quite stands out if you're looking to take photos, like pretty photos and things like that, which a lot of people love to do here in Taiwan. The park's got quite a lot of fun attractions in it. It's got a ride called Sky and Earth Spin, and it also has a Trojan Castle, which is like a family-friendly type of ride. And it's also got a Greek theatre, so you can watch live performances there as well. And when you do go to Ida, I have been to the mall area of the park. You have shopping that you can do and the outlet area. So even after going to the park and spending a day on roller coasters or different rides, you can still shop as well. And they've got lots of restaurants too. So it's kind of an all-in-one destination. And like I mentioned, they also have hotels as well. So if you plan on going down to Kaohsiung for a weekend and you want to spend some time shopping and you also want to spend some time at the theme park and restaurants, you can stay in one of the hotels at the Ida World area, and then you can have easy and quick access to the theme park and also the outlet mall and other things too, which might be quite convenient if you're taking a family with you. The next theme park is the Formosan Aboriginal Culture Village. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought that it was a culture village, as in it will have shows. Maybe it's a very small area and it will have some shows of Aboriginal culture and maybe costumes and things like that. And I actually didn't realize that it was a theme park. It has amusement rides and cultural experiences as well. So the Formosan Aboriginal Culture Village is located near to Sun Moon Lake. So if you're making a trip to Sun Moon Lake and you're interested in having a fun day and some rides and also cultural experiences and exhibits, then you might want to check this out as well. So at that culture village, you can learn about Taiwan's indigenous tribes through different exhibits and traditional performances and even some of the architecture as well. But it's also got roller coasters and a gold mine adventure water ride. So it's got kind of the education side and also the fun side, and could be a really good option to add to a trip to the Sun Moon Lake area if you're wanting some amusement park thrills and maybe to learn a little bit about Taiwan's cultural heritage as well. Now for the third and final theme park that I'm going to chat about today, that one's called Li Pao Land and it's just outside of Taichung. This is one of the largest parks in Taiwan, and it's actually split into two sections. So it's got the amusement park area, and it's also got the water park area. Now again, they're similar to Jianfusan Fancy World theme park. The water park area is only open for certain months of the year, and it closes around September. So during the winter months, the water park area won't be open, but the amusement park area is still open. Okay, so what is the main attraction at the Li Pao Land amusement park area? It's definitely the Gravity Max roller coaster. Now, this roller coaster is really cool because it's the world's first tilt roller coaster. So basically what happens is you go up the track, and then as you get to the top, the track ends. So there's no track, and then it actually flips you. It turns forwards, so you're at a 90-degree angle hanging on a track, and it joins to another line of track which is going 90 degrees downwards. So as you're coming up to the end, it looks like the track has ended, and then the whole track tips and you tip down, the track joins together, it holds you there for a while, and then it drops you down 90 degrees, and then it does a loop where you go upside down and twists around a few more times. So it sounds really scary. It sounds like it's not for the faint of heart. And I have watched a few videos of people on this roller coaster, and there's a lot of screaming, and it had me on the edge of my seat just watching the video. So if you want to see it, you can look up the Gravity Max roller coaster at Leapowland. Maybe you're interested in going to try it, and you might end up going to Leapowland. If you do, or you actually try any of these roller coasters or theme parks, please send me an email and let me know what you thought about the theme parks. You can email me at amberesh@rti.org.tw and let me know your thoughts, your experiences at the theme park. Now, aside from that, there's also a Ferris wheel. It seems like there's quite a lot of Ferris wheels in Taiwan, and there's always a big Ferris wheel at the theme parks. So there was a big Ferris wheel at Jianfushan Fancy World. There's a large Ferris wheel at Ida, and there's also a really massive Ferris wheel at Leapowland. If you're driving down the highway through Taiwan, you can actually see this Ferris wheel from the highway, and that always lets you know that you're quite close to coming up to Taichung. This has really got good views, I think, of the Taichung area, and I think it's more of like a family-friendly kind of ride because, I mean, some people are scared of Ferris wheels, but Ferris wheels are pretty relaxed, really, like they're not going fast or anything like that. So if you're looking for something a little bit more laid back, there's also a big Ferris wheel at Leapowland as well. So let's do a quick recap of some of the theme parks that you can visit in Taiwan. So the first one is Jianfushan Fancy World, which is in Yunlin County. You can go there if you want a nice amusement park day out, or in the summertime if you want to head to a water park. The Formosan Aboriginal Culture Village in Nantou, nearby Sun Moon Lake, is another great option. You can go there if you want a bit of a cultural experience and also an amusement park experience, and it could be a great addition to a trip to Sun Moon Lake too. Next up, there's Leapowland in Taichung. If you want to experience the 90-degree Gravity Max roller coaster, and also in the summertime if you want to head to the water park, you could also try out Leapowland as well. And it's very convenient because it's pretty near to Taichung off of the main motorway. If you visited any of these theme parks and you'd love to share your opinion on them, then please email me at amberesh@rti.org.tw. And if there's any other theme parks in Taiwan that you would like to share about, then please feel free to let me know those as well. That'll be all for today's episode of Let's Go. I hope this could have given you some ideas for your next adventure in Taiwan, whether you're thinking of a thrilling day at the theme park or a relaxing day at the water park. So thanks for joining me, and don't forget to tune in next time for more travel-related content here on Let's Go. Until then, happy exploring, and I'll see you in next week's episode.